Hi everyone, Chris Hollister from the University at Buffalo. As you know from my abstract, this is a case study on using open pedagogy to engage library and information students. We need to begin with some operational definitions. Definitions vary for the term open pedagogy, which is an open educational practice. Open pedagogy is generally understood as the theory and practice of engaging students as creators of course content rather than requiring them to be just passive consumers of it. Proponents of this framework view it as a form of experiential learning in which students demonstrate greater understanding of and engagement with course content through the act of creating it. So, some contextual information. In 2019, I created a new course on international and comparative librarianship for the University at Buffalo's Department of Information Science. Like many of you, I dislike the notion of having students purchase textbooks when all the information they need to be successful is already available in the library or is openly available elsewhere. However, the initial stages of development for this course were stymied by what I deemed to be the substandard quality of supporting literature on international librarianship. So I viewed this as an opportunity to adopt an open pedagogical framework. Accordingly, students in this course were assigned to create their own textbook. Each student authored a chapter about libraries in the field of librarianship in a non-North American country. The textbook was developed under a Creative Commons license as an open educational resource, allowing free use, remixing, and repurposing in future sections of the course or in similar courses offered in library programs at other institutions. As noted, this was an experiment, and I emphasized this with students. They were willing and enthusiastic participants, and as a result, I viewed this as an opportunity to investigate their perceptions of this undertaking. And I imagined the following: that moving beyond the traditional one and done term paper would resonate with students, that they would appreciate the opportunity to contribute to professional discourse by addressing gaps in the literature, that they would benefit by coming out of the course with a publication for their portfolios and dossiers, that developing an open educational resource would resonate in particular with these students given library ethos and the library field's abiding principle of free to all. And finally, that students would support this manner of experimentation in the context of a research university which was undertaken to improve teaching and learning. To understand students' perceptions of this experiment, I collected anonymized data by way of a voluntary survey and a required reflection paper assignment. The latter of these was required because reflection is a key component of open pedagogical practice. The results of this study are detailed in a published paper, but among the highlights, all survey respondents reported that this experiment, creating their own course textbook, was their first experience with an open pedagogical framework. 60% of students indicated that making their coursework openly available was somewhat unnerving. However, most came to accept it and even embrace the notion. All respondents recognized the educational value of adopting an open pedagogical framework in this course. And all respondents embraced the notion of moving beyond their traditional one and done term paper and giving life to their coursework, moving beyond as an open educational resource. Students were profusely emphatic on this point. The results appear to give credence to my hypotheses on the use of open pedagogy in this course. The evidence is compelling that students in this study ascribed a positive learning experience to the implementation of an open pedagogical framework, and they held for its continued use in future sections. Students were enthusiastic in their embrace of creating renewable versus disposable coursework. They also expressed satisfaction with contributing to the professional literature, building the discipline's nascent OER record, and having a publication to feature in their curricular portfolios. I should note that some students reported levels of discomfort with writing chapters about countries and cultures as outsiders. I regard this particular point as very important and something of a blind spot in my own course planning and something that needs to be addressed moving forward. Some concluding business. The completed volume, International Libraries, an Open Textbook, was published on the University of Buffalo's Institutional Repository. More details about this study are included in this paper, which was published in the Journal of Librarianship and Scholarly Communication. Research data is available on the Open Science Framework. This is the cited research for this presentation, and I thank you very much for your attention.